There was some sort of quote from a magazine or a newspaper in 1994, just after Roy Jones Jr. had spanked James Toney at super middleweight at that unification. And it said that what was supposed to be a tremendous fight between two top fighters just turned into a one-man exhibition. And that's just what we saw there. Here's this fight we've been waiting for many years that ideally would have happened pre-car crash, and maybe that would have made it slightly more competitive. But on the basis of what we saw, Terence Crawford absolutely whipping Errol Spence Jr., it probably would have always been one-way traffic. He becomes boxing's first ever undisputed champion at welterweight in the four-belt era. That stupid phrase. Like it means more. No, of course, the less belts, the better. But it is what it is. It's a milestone. The big takeaway is Crawford looks tremendous in the process. I think it is important that we give Crawford his full credit here because Spence didn't give up. He showed a lot of heart. He kept pushing forward. It ultimately paved his downfall. There was no plan B. And good talkers like Antonio Tarver really picked that up, and he said, look, I just don't think Spence's team got him ready. Other people are going to point at the physicality aspect or trying to make weight and be like, look, I just think he's weakened now. But he's been making 147 for years. He has been a big welterweight from day one. We know the score. And what was always supposed to be one of Spence's ace cards in this fight, it was neutralized by Crawford. I think this is something we're all guilty of not highlighting enough in the build-up to this one, which is Crawford's own strength. Doesn't he have some sort of amateur wrestling background? When Spence was trying to press him, completely unflustered. Yeah, I'll pick off that body shot. Yeah, you're not really getting through with that one. Right, now it's my turn. By the end of the fight, he's pushing Spence back. Now, the truth is that, no pun intended there, that Spence may have been a little bit stronger a few years ago, and Crawford may have even grown more into welterweight now. But again, going back to the dominance of this fight, that said its own truth. So is Terence Crawford now pound for pound number one? Yeah, sure, why not? I don't think it's really that important who is number one, because Crawford, Usyk and Inoue, those three guys for me for the last few years have been the top three. Of course, none of them have lost. Yes, Usyk has been inactive and Dubois is not going to change much, but they've all been dominant. They all passed the eye test with flying colours. It would really depend on two of the other guys to lose for one of the three to be the clear-cut number one. Now, how you feel these guys should be ordered, that's up to you. It's not always that interesting. What's of more interest to me is just, what is it that makes these three guys really special? And I kind of look at the footwork. You've got Big Usyk up there at heavyweight. He's so light on his feet, always tinkering with the range, really the master of that three-quarter range, where you think you may be close enough, then it's not the case, and he just gets you in all kinds of knots. We've got little Inoue down there. His feet are so rooted for power. He hasn't got much time for the flicking stuff. He's always looking to make a dent with every punch. And then we come to Bud Crawford, whose footwork is kind of a hybrid between the two. Very smoothly moves about, back and forth, side to side. But at first glance, those heels are very close to the canvas, almost flat-footed. He is ready to transition into an aggressive state. Just look how beautifully balanced he is. And the first and second round of the Spence fight were perfect examples. To begin with, he's playing the matador, having a bit of a look. But as soon as there's an opportunity that those instincts pick up on in round two, and he pounces on him, and he makes something happen. Just such beautiful transitions, seamless transitions from offense to defense and back again. I don't think any fighter does it as well. Similar to the way Stephen Fulton was blasted against Naoya Inoue, we're not sure how Errol Spence is going to deal with this loss either. Mentally, is he going to capitulate? But physically, he's very probably done at welterweight. And talks of a 154 rematch, it's like, come on, man, that was not competitive. Who's going to want to see that? And when Spence was being asked about the prospect of a rematch, he, obviously very marked up and sore. He didn't sound like he was chomping at the bit to make that a reality. I can't blame him. The only way is up, as the song goes, literally for Errol Spence, up another weight class, and that very well may be the case as well for Terence Bud Crawford. He is no longer, though, now trying to hunt down that signature win. He's got it. That solidity we were waiting for his career to get, he's got it. He deserves all the props. Because that was so dominant, I could never see any pre-car crash Spence beating him. Just his instincts, the shot selection, the way he was walking him onto that right hook. Just beautiful. He was going to the body when he needed to. Just that jab was shaking him up at the end. What a consummate performance. And it's just made those fantasy fights with the likes of a Floyd Mayweather a little bit more interesting. But what do we make of all this? Where does Errol Spence Jr. go from now? Is he a broken man? Can he maybe pick himself back up and corner some sort of world title at 154? As for Bud Crawford, was that performance more impressive than what we saw from the Monster just a few days prior? Blasting Stephen Fulton. Those guys have kind of actually been in a little bit of a pound-for-pound race for a long time. Some people have picked up the fact they first became a world champion within about a month of each other back in 2014. And the race continues. In a way, maybe just a little bit behind now, but 30 years of age, you got to believe he's got a few more years left. In the remaining ones of Bud, what do you think he should do?